now we know one really important thing. If the enemy jungle starts in the same side as you, they literally only have one gank window. We need to know these things to play bot lane because this tells you when to push, when to not push, when to ward, when to not ward, right? You wanna know which camp he skipped. If the red buff is literally full duration like this, what that means is that he literally couldn't have done anything after the red buff. So he has to have come directly from red buff. So that means what his script is cracks. Now, if the red buff is like kinda expired, what that means is that what he skipped has to be before the red buff, because after red buff he still did a camp or two. So you're saying you're having trouble tracking the jungler. Is this mostly an early game thing?
Probably like throughout the game, kind of. Not even like early game.
Okay. There are a couple of things we're gonna use to track jungle properly. It's pretty easy once you know how to do it, because there's two aspects of tracking the jungle. One is knowing how to do it, okay? What things we're gonna look at and how to track him. But the other one is, even for people that know supposedly how to do it, is getting the habit of doing it without like autopiloting and forgetting, right?
Yeah, I think that's the second thing for me, because I feel like I know how to do it. Like, obviously could improve as well, but mostly I struggle with like actually doing it.
Okay, so how do you normally track this? Like you say you know how to do it, so what do you know?
Yeah, so like at the start of the game, like you see like your jungler, enemy jungler, you see if they're early ganking jungler or farming jungler. So you kind of know what they want to do, so you know what to expect. So that's kind of the thing they do early game, and then you kind of base it off through the whole game, where you kind of know. Especially like with Ashe, she's kind of a cheat code, because you can like with her and then but yeah.
So what I noticed right now is that you think you know how to track jungle, but this is not how you track jungle. So what the things you're saying right now, let's focus on this first aspect first, knowing how to track the jungle. The things you're saying right now, they are not information stuff, but they are infers. So think of like when you want to track a missing person or whatever, missing plane, I don't know. There's two things you can use. One is real information, such as the last known position, and the other one is things that you can infer based on previous knowledge, such as, well, this person likes to frequent this bar. Let's check that, okay? That's not information, that's like a guess. Most of the things you're saying right now are like guesses, okay? And this is where most players in low elo struggle tracking the jungle, because they are constantly guessing stuff. What I'm gonna teach you right now is how to have like certain information, okay? What by that I mean like perfect information, okay? The first habit you have to build is two things. One is knowing where enemy jungle starts. This is really important. And notice that I said knowing, I didn't say thinking or guessing. Because what you're saying, oh, who's the strong side lane, whatever, that's just a guess. Especially in your elo where junglers are gonna autopilot the same pathing even if they have different lanes. And the other thing that we need to know is every time, this is the habit that low elo players don't have, and even players in Master Diamond don't have, and I've been coaching Master players this week that don't do this, so you need to build this habit. Every single time you see enemy jungle in the map, you move camera to him, you press tab, and left click him, okay? These two habits are super, super, super important, and I'm gonna explain why in a second. Okay, so now let's gather the perfect information you can know about jungle, okay? So perfect information number one is that you need to know the CS count of jungle camps. Do we know that?
Well, if we look at that, yeah.
No, but I mean, do you know how many CS each camp gives?
Oh, 4 CS.
Okay, perfect. 4 CS per camp. And how many camps in the map for the enemy jungle?
7 without thinking.
No, it's 6. So 3 in each side, 6, okay?
Scoutful, yes, 7 then neutral. Yeah.
So it's 3 plus 3 and 3, okay?
Yep.
Okay. The second piece of information that we need to know is timers. How much does the buff take to spawn? And how much do the other camps take to spawn? Do we know? Buff respawn is 5 minutes. This is the AC.
Same as
like respawn, I'm saying. This is not when they spawn. This is what, like, if you kill them at minute 2, they will spawn at 7, okay?
Yeah.
And normal camps respawn. How much is it, do you think? Do you know more or less?
3 minutes maybe? Just
It's
guessing.
2:15. Okay. So that means if I kill this grump at 150, okay, it's gonna spawn again at what? Do the math, right? It's like 405 would be
405, yeah.
when it spawns. Normally the first camp, so if they start blue, they normally finish killing this at around minute 2. So it spawns again at 4:15-ish, okay? 4:10, 4:15 is when it spawns, okay? The next piece of information you need to know if you play bot lane, and this is way easier for bot lane than for mid lane, is what we call the gank windows, okay? Initial gank windows. What do I mean by that? If I'm an enemy jungler, let's say that you're the blue team, okay? So you're this blue ADC. If I'm the enemy jungler, realistically, if I start... This is why it matters that you know where they start, okay? If I'm the enemy jungle and I start bot lane, there's really... I can do like the 3 camps and then camp bot, but if I didn't, there's not really other bad thing I could do. Like nobody's gonna do like 3 camps, go Raptors and then go back to bot. I've never seen that, right? That's not a thing, right?
Yeah.
So realistically, now we know one really important thing. If the enemy jungle starts in the same side as you, they literally only have one gank window. Okay? The exception is like if they're like a Shake or Nunu that can gank level 2 directly from the buff, but that's just, you gotta keep that in mind, it's like exceptions, okay? But realistically, it's only one gank window, which is the 3 camp gank, okay? So now, if you know where the enemy jungle starts and he started bot, the only thing you need to know is what is this gank window. If I do 3 camps, let's say that I do typical stuff like let's say I do 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and I go bot. How long does that take?
You kill that too, like what, 15 more seconds, like 2:15 or something.
It's around 2:35. Okay. We need to know these things to play bot lane because this tells you when to push, when to not push, when to ward, when to not ward, right? Especially it tells you when you can play aggressive on your safe. Because, again, I would be a bit careful. You can give it a bit of a, you know, plus 5 seconds just in case. So let's say 240, okay? If this window, if the enemy jungle starts in the same side as you, and this window passes, you're not gonna get ganked for the next 2 minutes. You're chill. You're just fine. So what that means is that if you ward, it has to be before this. You don't want to ward when the jungle's already in your lane. So you can transform in bot lane. We want to transform these timers into waves. So do we know what wave is the 230 wave? And by timer I mean we're gonna be using the time at which the wave meets in the center of the lane with the other wave. Okay. So 230, what is it? Do we know? Is it first, second, third? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What wave is it?
Third.
Yeah, perfect. It's the first cannon wave, which is the third wave. Okay. 230 is the first cannon wave. It meets at the center at 230, and it's the third wave of the game. So with all this information, now we have a very simple thing. If the enemy jungle started in your lane, in your same side of the map, we need to push the second wave, crash the second wave under tower, use that prior to ward, and then let the wave bounce back to you. And then if that time passes, you're safe for the rest of the lane and you don't need to worry. So this is the 230, 240 window. And why am I giving a 10-second thing? Because it depends on whether they do this or this, and also it depends on what jungle they are playing. Like some junglers will be way slower than others, right?
Yeah.
So maybe the guy didn't smite, maybe they didn't get a leash, maybe he did get a leash, so you know. Another thing that is very, very important to know is that if the jungle does a full clear, okay, most junglers will be crossing the mid lane here from one side of the map to the other at 235, okay?
Okay, yeah.
Unless they're like a super high tempo jungler, that would be 230. But or more or less at that time, okay? That is the time that they cross the mid lane or they gank with 3 camps. Now, if he finishes the full clear, normally he won't get back to bot lane, so this is another thing you can learn. Normally junglers will spend around 90 seconds on each side of the map, okay? So if the guy left this side of the map and didn't gank you at 230, when is he gonna come back to bot lane and be able to gank you?
So like he'll finish there, 9 seconds, but then he'll probably be back as well now.
Yeah, but it depends on whether he has cattle or not. It's just good to have like a ballpark number because you want to know when to ward. It doesn't matter if it's an exact time, right? You want to know when to ward and when to be careful or not be careful. So around minute 4 is when you start being careful again. 4:10, 4, okay? So normally what you would do is in this window you push a new ward and let it bounce before this wave comes. And in this window you're doing your first recall, so you're ungankable. That's like a really good thing to do. If you're recalling...
It's like everything, you can pretty much do it every single game.
Yeah, so the beauty of League is that while it's there's too many champions and everything changes all the time, the one thing that is always consistent and you can count on no matter what is the wave timers, right? And the timer of the game. So, and the timer of the jungle. So those things are like really easy to predict. Now, what if the so what if the guy starts like in the other side of the map, right? Opposite side start. So now we're saying that you are still this blue guy, but the enemy jungle started here in red buff.
So he'll
forget about the time. Forget about the time for now. Tell me, what are the amount of camps or gank windows first? 3 camp, 5, 4, 5, 6, 0. How many?
6 camp, probably. Like...
So that's a full clear, right?
Yeah.
Full clear, but there's more, right? What else? Well, so the other window is just doing the 3 top lane camps and then just skipping the whole bot lane and coming directly. Which is the same as 3 camps and coming, but he's traveling more distance. So if these 3 camps were 235 or 230, these 3 camps and coming like this, what will it be?
So it'll be like, if they come, probably like 3 minutes maybe?
A bit lower, like 250 usually, okay?
250, okay.
Okay. So 250 is the first window. So earlier than 250, if the enemy jungle starts at top, earlier than 250, you're never getting ganked. Impossible, okay? Simple as hell. It's not gonna happen, I promise you. Now, if he doesn't skip the whole bot side and he has a full clear, usually full clear, we're gonna be looking at the 330 to 50 window, depending on how fast he cleared, whether he got a leash, and whether he took scuttle before coming or not, right? But that's the window, 330 to 350. And now there's another more, like, earlier than that, he can also do like skipping more stuff. So 4-5 skip, be careful, okay? So he can do like, for example, these 3 and then just do this and go bot, but that will only happen if he sees something happening. So all you gotta know is that if you do fight after 250, make sure that you have wards, okay? However, if minute 350 passed and you didn't get ganked in bot lane, you're safe for the next 90 seconds. So until like minute like 5:10, 5:20, you're completely safe. So the nice thing about it is that 5:30 is also a canon wave, so you can push before 5:30 and regular at 5:30, jungle is spot, you're safe. So normally, if these are canon waves, we're gonna say that this is like normal wave, canon wave. This is the 2:30, this is the minute 4, this is the minute 5:30, this is 7. So normally, if the enemy jungle started in the same side as you kinda wanna recall in 4 and 7. And if the enemy jungle started in the opposite side as you wanna recall in 5:30 and 8:30. Not, I mean, there are gonna be variables, right? Did you kill? Did you get poke? But this is like things you can more or less plan ahead of time. There's more stuff. So now, this is all the things you can know without even having any info on the enemy jungler, apart from where he started, okay? Where he started already tells you so much. Now,
but like, how do you know how it started? Unless, like, what if they don't leash?
As soon as the game starts, most high-up players, including me, what we do is as soon as the game starts, you spam ping the enemy jungle, make your team follow you as an invade, and you just put a ward in one of the 2 buffs. That's all you need to do. You just need to ward one of them, because if he's not in one, he's in the other, right? If you don't see him in that buff, he's in the other, right? There's gonna be shenanigans, like sometimes you get invaded and you can't do anything, but you know, Solo queue is about consistency. You don't have to do... It doesn't have to go super well every single time, but if you do this consistently, you will win more than not, right? Of course,
Yeah.
some games, they are gonna be the one invading you, you can't ward, you don't know where to start. Some games, the enemy jungle is gonna be like a weird jungler like Ivern. Some games, it's gonna be starting in Raptors and you lose track, like it's fine, okay? But overall, more than 50% of the time, this will work, right?
So just ask my support or like someone to board it.
No, you go all together because you don't want to get your support killed.
Yeah, like I go with them, but like to use their word, or do I just use my word?
You just ping the ping that you want a ward and somebody will.
Okay. Got it.
Okay. Now, what if we do have info, okay? So that's the first habit, how far it gets you, okay? Now the second habit. Let's do some math, right? What happens if the enemy jungle, you don't know where he started. So let's say you don't know where he started, but he shows here to gank top lane, and he has 24 CS, level 4.
So we don't know where he started. So he probably full cleared. But
Yeah,
didn't
24
take-
CS is full clear, and level 4 is full clear, okay?
Yeah.
However, you do know where he started. You know how? This is where this second aspect comes into play. You said move the camera. I said move the camera. Move the camera to him. When you click on him, you can see the buff duration of red and blue buff.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
So by looking at the duration between red and blue buff, you know which one he did earlier, okay?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Okay.
We will continue. It gets even better. What if he shows top and he has 24 CS but level 3? He has the same CS but level 3.
Yeah, he took Scuttle maybe and didn't take a camp.
Yeah, perfect. So he skipped one camp and took Scuttle. How do we know which camp he skipped? I mean, usually in this situation you would assume it's Krugs, but what if there was a way to know exactly for sure with the information we have on screen? So you look at the red buff duration, for example, right? You see it's gonna be like a square with like a timer on it, right?
Yeah.
If the red buff is, he shows here, and the red buff, you know he skipped a camp because of this, okay? You wanna know which camp he skipped. If the red buff is literally full duration like this, what that means is that he literally couldn't have done anything after the red buff. So he has to have come directly from red buff. So that means what his script is cracks. Now, if the red buff is like kinda expired, what that means is that what he skipped has to be before the red buff, because after red buff he still did a camp or two.
Yeah.
See how easy that is?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Now, obviously, it would be very weird to like do this and skip this, but the point being is that you don't have to guess. I want to get you into the habit. I want to get you into the habit of knowing for a fact everything. Like, this is perfect information that is in your screen. Move the camera. You gotta get in the habit. I cannot stress this enough. Even if you're a bot laner, when the enemy jungle ganks top, you need to look at him with the camera. Click on him, look at the level, CS, and buff duration. You need to do that. So you know when to recall, when to ward, when to fight, when to not fight. It helps you so much. Likewise, if you're a jungler, you want to avoid showing up in the enemy screen, in the enemy vision, if the gank is not guaranteed to work, because then you're giving the enemy all of this information. There's one last thing that we can track, which is really important, which is we need to get in the habit of tracking the amount of gold the jungler has in their inventory. So if they have like 30, let's say they have like 36 CS, and they're like level 5, but I look at their inventory, it's like completely empty, only jungle item, that will tell me they're gonna recall like probably now. So that will tell me I can push one more wave or whatever. Likewise, if they have like this same setup, but in their inventory they have like a tunneler plus longsword. I know that their inventory is like 0 gold, they spent all of it, so they're gonna be in the map for a long time.
Yeah, just reset. Yeah.
So, and it also tells me that they have more camps alive. If they have like no items at all, probably they did a lot of camps and they have none alive. So that also tells you like how long they will be in the map, when they will recall. So when they recall, that's sometime to push even harder, right? So you need to get in the habit of like always putting the camera on the jungler, clicking on them and knowing where they start. If you build these two habits, these simple two habits, and use this information, it's so easy to play the game in bot lane, like in the enemy jungle. If you build those two habits and use the information above, that's pretty much it. Because the other thing is that nobody else is looking at these things, so that's really good.